Hello everybody, Prepper Journey here. Thank you for stopping in. Today is Thursday, January 21st, 2021. Again, thank you for coming by. Please like and subscribe if you get the chance to, and hopefully you enjoy this video. And I'm trying to make an informative video here, and I'm going to talk about communications and having to do with prepping. Okay, so I'm going to try to keep it basic because there's a lot of YouTube content creators out there who are very experienced in ham radio, and they've gone to great lengths to putting a lot of content out there. So I would advise, if you really want to get deep into ham radio, into amateur radio, that you see some of these content creators and go see what they have to put out. But what I'm going to talk about is just the very basics. And so buckle up and put your ears on. Okay. So why is it important? Well, let me give you a little scenario. Things have gone sideways, okay? Let's say I live near a city and there's been rioting, and all of a sudden the grid goes down, okay? No power. And then I look at my phone and I realize that I have no internet either, so I can't go out and I can't get any information as to what's going on. Let's say, just for the sake of it, I live near Portland, Oregon, okay, and there is rioting going on right now. You lost power, you can't get the news, you can't find out what's going on. So how do you do so? Well, you can go to your radios, okay, and find out what's going on. Now, there are different types of radios. There are ones that transmit, and there are ones that just receive. Now, I'd like to touch on both, and I would like to try to keep it down to a point where it's affordable for somebody who's just now getting into amateur radio or into the communications realm of prepping. So I want to start off by saying food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, and a means of self-defense, and communications. I think that should be included with the basics, and it's important for us to focus on that as well. So I've got right here, I have created a little Faraday cage for my little shortwave radios. I have two in here, and they are protected from an electromagnetic pulse or a coronal mass ejection. Now, they say that a coronal mass ejection will mostly affect things that are plugged into the grid. So if you have electronic devices that are not plugged into the grid, you're probably okay if it's a coronal mass ejection. If it is an EMP or a nuclear detonation above the atmosphere, high up in the atmosphere, it could very well affect a lot of other things, including sensitive electronics that have antennas built into them. Radios are very susceptible to EMP. So you want to be able to shield them somehow. This is a Vietnam era card file box. Pretty simple, right? It's totally enclosed, okay? And I've put some rubber, the stuff that you can line the cabinet shelves in your kitchen with, and I've glued it all the way around so nothing inside touches the metal in the inside of this. I have my Grundig. I have two Grundigs here. I have a digital Grundig radio. It's a shortwave, all band and weather band radio. This one I've had, this is a Grundig here, for about 25-30 years or so, and it's an oldie, it's an analog, but it's a goodie. And it takes AA batteries, and has two dials on it. One's for tuning, one's for volume, and you just switch from band to band, your different frequency bands, with this little switch right here. Very simple, and it's very packable. You could put this in your get home bag or bug out bag, and it weighs very little. But it works really good still. Grundig, it's a very good reputable company for shortwave radios. This one I picked up, it was a bit more expensive. I don't know what they're going for now. But again, because I've had such success with my Grundig, I bought another one. This is a Grundig Traveler Digital. And I think I might have paid about $1.25 for this, or maybe 150 or so. But it has all of the shortwave capability, except it's a little bit higher quality, and it locks onto the stations a little bit better than your analog one. But they both work, and I keep them protected in my little Faraday cage. So that's the beginning of communications and the very basics of staying informed. So if you had one of these with some rechargeable batteries or a bunch of batteries on standby, you can stay informed and listen to what's going on if that information is being put out. Keep a notebook handy, and you can stay on top of that. Okay, so now that that's out of the way, that's your receive only. Okay, now next item I'm going to go to is your GMRS FRS radios, which you can get fairly cheap at Walmart and other similar department stores. You can order these on Amazon. I went to Sportsman's Warehouse. I think I might have got these at, or North 40, but I got these for just under $100. They come with a base charger. They are lithium ion, or I think they're lithium ion batteries, but they do have a pretty good charge on them. They will last at least 24 hours. As long as you're not talking on them constantly, and then you can recharge them. So I'm planning on possibly getting another set of these, so I'll have 4 of them. And what I plan to do is stick 2 of these in my Faraday cage and use 2 of them. So these are, you don't have to have a ham license, a technician's license, to be able to transmit and receive on these types of radios. These are specific to a band of frequencies that the FCC has allocated for public use, and it's not controlled. So there are 22 channels, and those you can transmit and receive on, and there's 8 extra channels that you can receive only on, so emergency information and stuff like that. Also weather channel, so if you want to go on to NOAA weather and be updated on the weather, it has that capability as well. So you're looking at the 462 megahertz to about the 467 megahertz range. So it has about 1 mile to 2 miles, I would say, tops, if you have flat ground, line of sight with no obstructions. You could probably get to a maximum of 2 miles on these. They're 2 watts. They're not very powerful, but what's great about these is that, one, you don't have to have a license to use it, and you can buy them on the cheap, get a bunch of them, and pass them around to your neighborhood, your family, and so that you can all talk to one another and have a plan as to what frequencies you're going to go to, and if you have problems, what frequencies you're going to go to from there, and so forth. But have a comms plan, and that way you guys, whoever's on watch, who's on patrol, can stay in touch with whoever's at Kiki, over here. Go, sit. Sorry, my dog was getting in the way. Stay. Nope, no barking. Yes, somebody's out there. It's okay. It's our neighbor. We live in an RV, so yeah. Okay. So back to the FRS GMRS radios. In the prepper world, we say 2 is 1 and 1 is none. So I would suggest going ahead and getting extras and putting them away for safekeeping. Okay, so we got that done. Next in line would be the most popular 2-way dual band FM transceiver radio out there in the market right now, and that's the Baofeng. And I've got a couple here. This is the basic UV5R Plus. It's 5 watts. It's programmable. And it's got a lot of program channel capability as well. You can program it via a open source software that you can download on your laptop. And some radios that you get through Amazon and so forth come as a kit, and it comes with a programming cable as well. So you can plug the programming cable up via USB to your laptop, and you can program this radio, which is a lot easier to do through the Chirp software. And if you have a local ham club, I would suggest getting with them, and somebody can help you with the programming of your radio. Or you can meet with others, say in a Patriot group who has a comms committee, and there's a lot of that being a lot of people gathering together right now for that purpose. So it's not hard to get with other like-minded folks who are interested in this kind of thing. Again, you can only receive on this. You can listen all day on it without a license, but in order to transmit with this, you need to have your technician's license at the very least. It's a decent radio. It's not the best quality build. This little belt clip right here is not very robust, so you do kind of have to treat it carefully. They do make an extra length, a longer length antenna to give you a little more gain for this, but this antenna, the little rubber ducky comes off, screws off. This is an SMA type female connector. This is the male connector, and you can get a whip style. I have one right here, I'll show you. You have a whip style right here that you could also put on here. This one here is for another radio of mine, but you can get pretty much the same thing for the Baofengs. The new Baofeng generation also includes an 8-watt version, so you get a little bit more power. So that means that you might be able to receive a little better, and you can get a little further out with your transmissions. Again, you're not supposed to transmit unless you have your license. When things go sideways, and I don't know if that's going to really matter, but it's still good to know how to operate and be courteous with others with your radio when you're on the airwaves. So that's really important. So that's the Baofeng. Now the Baofeng is very accessorizable. You can actually get a lot of different accessories. You can get different batteries. You can get extra batteries. This is the base charger right here. It has a cord that comes out of it and then goes to an adapter that plugs into the wall, and it needs AC power to be able to charge. So with that being said, you need to have, if you don't have grid power, you need to be able to convert 12 volt off of a 12 volt battery or something of the sort, and be able to convert that through an inverter to give you AC power in order to charge this radio back up. So I highly recommend solar as a backup alternative for power. But yes, you can charge batteries in many different ways other than solar, and have that available to use to be able to change to alternating current to be able to charge some of these electronic devices. Now, one of the things, alternatives, when we're talking about alternate power sources, on this particular model, or this UV5R, I've placed a battery pack that I got through Amazon for about 15 bucks. It holds 6 AA batteries, either alkaline batteries or rechargeables. I would suggest getting a good sized batch of rechargeable metal hydride, nickel metal hydride rechargeable AA batteries to have on hand, and having the ability to keep them charged and have them available for these. So if you go down, your grid goes down, and you don't have another means to charge your Baofeng, you can go ahead and take the battery off and replace it with a AA battery pack, and you'll have the power that you need. Now, I haven't used this for very long, so I don't know how long these AA batteries will last, but I've had this on for a week now, and it's still showing fully charged. And I've used it to scan the weather and stuff like that since I put it on. So it's pretty good. It makes it a little bit more grippable too, makes it a little longer. It's a little heavier. So what I suggest is, if you have somebody in your group or in your family that has the ability to go out and patrol and roam for security, that they have a tactical vest with MOLLE attachments on the front of them, so that they can hang their radio and keep it out of harm's way. Because if you keep it on your hip, you're likely going to bust it. This belt clip is not, like I said, it's not very robust, and you need a way to keep it safe. That way, if you had it like up here, you'd be able to grab it here or here and be able to talk on it and be able to listen at the same time, and keep it at a low volume because it's closer to your ears. So there's that. Okay. There's a lot of aspects of this radio, but I'm not going to get into all the details of it. I would suggest you go search on the YouTube for the Baofeng UV5R or the other UV models, UV8 and the other Baofeng models, so that you can get detailed information on these. There is another accessory that I'd like to share with you, and it is basically an earpiece. And this is basically a sound tube that's connected to a mini speaker in here. It amplifies the sound that goes through the tube and into your ear. Now, what's good about this is it's also got a push to talk button right here that attaches to your vest or your shirt. For covert security, so if you're a person who's out and about your house, whatever, doesn't want to be heard when you key up on the other end of their communications, or somebody breaks in and just keys them up and they've got their volume turned up, they don't want to give away their position and stay safe. So you use one of these and nobody can hear them if they're in their vicinity while they're hearing what's going on the radio. So this is a very nice gadget to have for covert communications during security watches. And you can get one of these for around 20 bucks, maybe a little less than $20. And that's for the Baofeng. You can get them for all manner of radios as well as the GMRS radios. Okay. Another power source, which I haven't tried yet, but I've got this. This plugs into your cigarette lighter in your vehicle or your RV or wherever you have this type of a receptacle, and you can power up your two-way radio with that and charge it up. This one happens to be specific for my Yeasu. So we've talked about the Baofeng as a cheap alternative for a amateur portable radio, but this is a little more expensive. This is about 150 to 160 range. This is not made in China. Well, I would say 99% of it's made in Japan. There might be some components of it that's made in China. I don't know, but it supposedly is a Japanese company. Anyways, this is a better build. It's a little more robust. It's heavier plastic. It's got a more robust belt clip on it, less likely to bust. This has more or less been the industry standard for ham radio operators for portables, for their go-to portable, for at least a couple of decades now. And it doesn't have the ability to transmit digital stuff on the airwaves. It's just basically voice, just line of sight communications on the VHF and UHF bands. You get weather, you get emergency channels. It's programmable. It's a lot more user friendly to be able to program through this keypad is a lot easier than it is to try to program through these Chinese radios. Yeah, they made these a lot more user friendly. And you can also use software on your laptop to be able to program these through a programming cable as well. But one of the nice things about this radio, it's also a 5 watt, just like the Baofengs are. And it's got about the same range, but it's more discriminating and it's a higher quality build, whereas you're going to be able to hear a little more clearly, and you're going to be able to reach out a little bit further, especially with a whip antenna like this. This is a high quality diamond manufactured whip antenna. And you've got a squelch control right here on the volume knob. And what squelch is you've got a lot of extra noise that can come through on a particular frequency that is undesirable, and it masks the voice that you're trying to make intelligible. So to make that voice coming across that frequency more intelligible is you adjust the squelch, and you can do that by turning the knob, and it eliminates that noise and brings in just the voice. And that's really nice to have as a manual variable squelch versus something that you have to punch in numbers on your keypad in order to adjust your squelch. So on the fly squelch control, I think is a good thing to have. And so you're going to pay a little bit more money for these types of radios, but I highly recommend the Yeasu or the ICOM or the Kenwood. They're all a little bit pricier, but they're better quality builds, and you'll get a lot longer life out of them, and you'll have less problems. They're more discerning, and they're not as dirty. In other words, they don't have cross-channel contamination so much as the cheaper radios do. So these are good radios. FT60R is the one that I got. They're hard to find right now. They're back ordered at the manufacturer because everybody's trying to get these right now. But if you can get maybe the next model up, it's a little bit more pricey, but the FT80, I do believe, is another option that you can get. Great radios. So I highly recommend these. So as you can tell, this is a Puxing charger base. These are pretty lightweight. They're kind of small. This is the aftermarket base for my FT60, and it's a lot bigger. It's a little heavier, and it sits more sturdy on the table. And one thing I want to say is, and a lot of people don't talk about this on these videos when they're talking about these portables, is that when you're recharging these, you have to make sure that they're seated properly in their charger base. You don't want to just set it in and it be floppy, because it's not making a good contact and it's not going to charge. You have to make sure that you put it in solidly and it doesn't wiggle, and there is usually an LED light that comes on when it's engaged and it's actually charging. So they usually flash, or they turn a red color or a green color to let you know whether or not they need a charge or if they're fully charged. So that's important when it comes to these base chargers and being able to charge these radios up. Doesn't matter whether it's a Baofeng, a Puxing, Yeasu, ICOM. They all have bases that require that you pay attention and that you are sure that you've got a good contact when you're charging them up. Okay, so there's that. So this is the Puxing radio. So this is very similar to the Baofeng in the fact that it is a dual band 5 watt. It's inexpensive, and you can program it using the Chirp software just like you can the Baofeng. And the only real difference is it's got this extra knob right here that you can scan through the frequencies. It's notched, and you can select the different frequencies using this knob and volume knob here. Again, this is a cheaper Chinese radio, so it doesn't have the real-time squelch knob up on top that you can grab hold of and adjust the squelch. You have to go in to the menu and be able to find the squelch option, and then go up or down arrow to be able to adjust the squelch, which could be quite a pain in the butt when you're in a hurry to do things. So that's what I like about these better radios, the Yeasus. Okay, on the Yeasu, I've also got this battery pack. It's for AA batteries, holds 6 batteries, and so you could use either alkaline or rechargeable AA batteries for the Yeasu as well. It's nice to have. Now, on the subject of antennas, you can have 5 watts and you can get 4 to 6 miles. That is the standard rating. Okay, 4 to 6 miles line of sight, flat level ground. If you're out on the ocean, you might be able to get all the way to the horizon, which is about 10 nautical miles. But if you got a nice antenna, and they make different types of antennas, you can have the ones that you actually put on a slingshot, and you can sling them up over a tree and drape them up over a tree, and it gives you a lot more range, gives you a lot more receivability, and a lot better transmission capability as well. And if you are to hard mount particular antennas, say on top of your car or on top of your RV or on top of your house, that'll get you further out too. And you can just hook that antenna cable up to one of your portables, and there you go. You can extend that range. You can buy different types of adapters for that purpose, and you can go. This is a BNC to an SMA connector right here. And so depending upon the type of cable connector you've got for your big antenna, will determine what kind of an adapter you could use. But you can go to a local company, communications company that deals with Motorola radios and things like that, and you can ask them for getting the right adapter and having them make up cables for you and things like that, and get antennas as well. So now, a lot of people don't believe too much in CB radios very much anymore, but they're still out there. There's still frequencies that are available to the public on the airwaves, so why not make use of them? Every once in a while I will hear a trucker coming through our area here, and they will be chatting. There is an emergency channel, I think it's channel 9 on the CB frequencies, and you can hear information being put out by truckers and other people on that. They're usually on channel 19 if there's any chattering going on, and then if there's an emergency, you can go to channel 9. This has 20 channels, plus I think there's some weather band channels that you could scan for as well. So you got weather and CB, and this comes with a rubber ducky. This here portable CB radio was made by Cobra. It's called a Road Trip, and it holds 9 AA batteries in here. Or you can plug it into a cigarette lighter, or you could plug it into an AC outlet in order to power it up. If you get into a vehicle with one of these, you're not going to be able to talk or hear much, so you need to have an antenna on top. And you can take this antenna here off, and you can plug your cable in from your antenna up to here, and that'll get you so you can talk or you can listen and talk while you're in your vehicle. But this doesn't do you a whole lot of good if you're inside of a structure. It's good when you're outside, but that's about it. Okay, so other than that, the need to have extra batteries is really important. Make sure that you load up on some of these testers, these cheap battery testers, and have them in different locations so that they're easily accessible. And that you keep all of your extra batteries that you've got stored. Test them every once in a while. You don't want a bunch of dead batteries laying around. Chuck them and go ahead and replace them. And for the rechargeables, test them often. If they do go down, you want to charge them back up and have them ready. So there you go. And these, I think I spent $15 for 4 of these. They're analog. They're just a little cheap meter there that gives green for good, yellow is not so good, and then red's bad. So pretty self-explanatory. And I bought one of these little organizers for batteries, so you can hang this on your wall in your pantry or in your RV or wherever it is you want to hang it, but try to keep it out of the humidity. But you can stock this up with batteries and keep these. Keep a little tester on top of that too, so that you can easily test them when you grab them and you know you got a full charge. One other thing I wanted to show you here real quick, and I'm going to bring this down and I'll show you. So I've got this box that I've had for many years. I think it was my dad's, and when he passed away I ended up with a lot of his stuff, and it's a metal Vietnam era file box. And so you open it up, it's completely contained. There's no holes around it, no gaps, and I've lined it with cardboard, and I keep a lot of my electronic goodies in here, radios. I've got a MERS infrared setup for security measures in here, so in the event of an EMP, I've got my stuff protected. My wife and I, we also use the round popcorn tins that you get during Christmas time. You can use those and line them as well, so that whatever's inside of them doesn't touch the metal on the inside, and that should also protect. Some people use Mylar bags. Other people go a lot further in making cages with grounds and all sorts of things. But you could keep it simple, and you could make things easily out of some things you may have laying around the house. So that pretty much wraps it up for today. I don't think I missed anything. I encourage you to go online while we still have the internet and check out some of the study guides for ham radio. I will try to put a link on this when I upload this video, and maybe that might help a little bit. But free study guides, free practice exams, and it'll give you a better idea of what you're up against if you want to get your ham license. And I highly suggest that you get involved with a local ham club and move towards getting your license. It's not difficult. Like I said, I'm not sure if I said this at the beginning of the video, but my wife, I didn't expect her to do as good as she did, but she beat me. She only missed it by 1, and I missed it by 2. So, it doesn't take a mastermind or a brain surgeon in order to get into ham and to be able to wrap your head around it and make it useful for yourself and your family and for your neighborhood to be able to stay informed when the crap really hits the fan. I mean, I feel like we're already in that early stages of crap hitting the fan, and I really feel like it's going to get worse. So why not start now? Learn what you can, get a few items, maybe with that stimulus money that we're supposed to be getting, maybe put some of that money towards getting a few radios. Start with the GMRS radio, maybe get a small shortwave radio for listening, and one of these Baofengs or a couple of these Baofengs. Try to stick one of them away for EMP protection, and you'd be good to go. I think you could probably do it for around $200 to $300 tops. You can get what you need to communicate and to stay informed. And again, you can sink a lot of money into it if you really want to go that route. But like I said, I just wanted to give you enough information on just getting started and just your basic needs. And hope you got some good information out of this video. And I hope to see you guys again soon. And this is Prepper Journey out. Take care.